Now before now before I start the recap, right? There's gonna be, scheduled changes on how I trade and also, how the trades are going to be like. And I think this is also a little bit easier for you guys as well because I don't want to bring the wrong message across the board of where you guys gotta um I would say sit through the rest of the entire day to kind of be catching every single play that moves. I've been doing this for 2 years plus, right? For the past 2 years. I mean, I've been doing this for more than 2 years, but for the past 2 years running Discord server, I've been trying to stay awake. I've been keeping myself awake. Uh, and my time zone is very unhealthy for me because I'm awake from 4 p.m. to around 6 to 7 a.m., right? Trying to catch plays. And I can't really go to bed because during the lull period of 1 p.m. onwards, I don't really sleep. I can't sleep because if not, I'll miss something if it does actually show up. But in reality, okay, if you have a great pre-market session, right? If you have a good market open session, if you just find one or two plays that goes, I think you're set for the day already. Because every single day there is what? It's new opportunities, right? Every single day there is new opportunities. So and also, of course, if you're single, it's fine, right? But for me, I'm married. My relationship has taken a huge hit because of not spending time. Because again, my time zone difference. When I'm awake, my wife is asleep. When I'm asleep, my wife is awake. We don't really spend a whole lot of quality time together, and I'm also very tired all the time because of because time zone, right? Time zone difference and stuff. So I gotta switch things up a little bit, right? So I think this is a lot more sustainable as well, a lot better. And I think there's a lot more of you guys that are able to join the EOD recap as well because in terms of the Eastern timing, I would assume that the work has already ended as opposed to when I usually do this at 4. So I think that's even better. Okay. All right. So less is more. All right. This the whole point. The whole point of trading for me at the end of the day is freedom of time. And I left my military job for this, right? So I mean, looking back, if I were to go back to just doing this staying throughout, it really fits the purpose of me trying to have freedom of time, right? Okay. Okay, so now let's look at the recap for today's place. 1 second. Okay, so of course, okay, as we go into the new week, right? We won't really know what is going to be running for the week or so. I mean, that's just something that we can never really know. So for us, okay, for me, all right, I just have to take into consideration what is actually running on Friday to potentially see what we can kind of get at 4 a.m., right? So that's why I kind of gave you guys two I kind of gave you guys two um setups to watch today. Right? I kind of gave you guys two setups to watch today. One of them is KLGN, crypto investment. The other one is RBB. All right, Chinese Global News. Okay. So of course at 4 a.m., right, we always want to see where the volume is set. Okay, so today is a lot easier because there isn't a whole lot of tickers to watch. Right? You really just only have two. So you put these two on your watch list. Okay, what you gotta do is put these two on your watch list. Right, ARBB is one. Okay, and then the other one's going to be uh what's the other one? Georgian. Okay, so in the morning, right? So and because the thing is, remember, I gave you guys this plan before the market opened. You guys had 2 hours to prep, right? Maybe you guys wake up 3:30. Still, 30 minutes more than enough time to mark your levels down, so on and so forth. So for ARBB, I'll mark 975 first. All right, I'll mark 975 first at 4 a.m. Just in case this thing starts popping, right? For QLGN, the plan was 675. Okay, so I'll mark 675 first as well. I already marked it by the way over here. All right. So one is a 975 break, one is a 675 break. Okay, so at 7 a.m., I'm sorry, at 4 a.m., when you see the candle do this, okay, you see that, right? There's clearly no volume pushing through 975. So in that sense, 4 a.m. is all about volume. All right, so there's no need for us to take, oh, should I take an 880s and stuff? No, fuck it. Ignore this because you want to follow where the volume's flowing. Okay, and then you only have two tickers. So if this is not flowing and you see it's flowing, this is really the only option that you have. Can you guys see how nice the 675 is holding on to? Right, once it broke out from it, it just pumped all the way to 9 plus. and we just never looked back after until, of course, this happened. But in pre-market, it's very nice, right? So it's a very simple play. Okay, why 675? It's I think let me see because yeah, so it's kind of like a very strong key level in the daily chart. Okay, just look at this rejection level over here and also another one over here as well. So pretty straightforward, nothing complicated. See that? Yeah. So once you broke through the 675, based on it, and the rest is just let the market do the work because we cannot control price action. Okay, so very, very good start, and all that. Boxel, again, this one was another one that was very interesting for me because there is no news over here. Okay, there is no news over here, but the volume is absolutely amazing. So, as this thing was climbing up, right, it kind of made a huge move before. You can see that, right? At 642, I took some 370. So right at this candle over here, uh, right, this candle over here, I took some 370s. Right, and then the next candle we popped all the way up to like 10 4 plus. And you see, the thing is, I wanted us to kind of hold on to this 330 level for us to form a flow at 7 o'clock, right? This 330 is a big key level for me. It's a big breakout key level for me. So I wanted this to kind of base on it. You came from box L. But the thing is, the move already made 1 minute later. The move made a move to like 4 plus. So I got to trim some, right? But I still was still hoping for us to kind of hold on to the structure over here so that we can potentially see this. This is what I was looking for 7, but it didn't happen first because the other ticker started flowing instead, right? There was another crypto news that started flowing instead, AGRI, right? And you guys can clearly see this clear volume rotation happening over here. So um, but yeah, it is what it is, right? This thing went all the way down to 338, held 330, went back up to 390, but there was nothing, so I closed the rest on the 330. Okay, because it didn't hold, because at 7 o'clock, this is 7 a.m. candle, you can see that. At 7 a.m., there was just no volume. But why though? It's because AGRI took all the volume at 7 a.m. Is it a coincidence? Probably so, but why did it run like that? Is because at 7, this ticker also dropped news. So it was this ticker didn't only just um ran at 7, right? But it was also just nice, right? It was also a huge coincidence that this ticker dropped crypto news at 7. So this is you guys can see, right? This is one of the reasons why um this is Thinkorswim. This is Thinkorswim. This is the reason why when I tell you guys, right, when we are taking place into 7 o'clock, you have to always be prepared for news potential setups because that's where companies, PR teams and stuff, right? Press release teams of companies might drop PRs. Anything from 7 onwards, anytime, there's no fixed schedule, okay? They can drop press releases. And AGR today, for example, look at this candle is 7 o'clock, but why did it move so hard like this? It wasn't just because of technical factors. It's because at 7, this thing had crypto news with Scaramucci about crypto treasury strategy. So because this thing does have a catalyst and it has 7 a.m. flow, it makes complete sense for Boxel at 7 to not make a move, right? It might, and I would even say that it might be done if it starts breaking down, but it didn't. So that's where, after the move for Argue is done and Boxel continues to hold up, then that's where we can get another set of volume rotation again, so long as there is nothing new hitting scanners. And at that point in time, there wasn't anything new hitting scanners. The only two volume movers at the point in time was Boxel and AGRI, right? So once AGRI has made its move and you can see it's not really sustainable anymore, it starts pulling back, then that's where you guys can see that Boxel decided to shine back up because did it break down? Did it completely break down when AGR was making its move? It did. Remember, this is the 7 a.m. candle over here, right? This is 7 a.m. candle over here for Boxer, right? So it dropped. Okay, sure it dropped, but it didn't make this a drastic drop like this, or a drastic, like in terms of what AGR did to the upside, right? Boxel did not do that exaggerated move to the downside, and in fact, once AGR started falling down, this was consolidating and broke the downtrend, right? So that's the reason why I took my entry. So I told you guys to look for a Boxel 395 break again. Now I was already in at around 330s, okay, but it's a little too slow. Okay, I was in the 330s when this thing, I wanted to alert, but then when I saw it was 360, so yeah, I couldn't alert that, right? So I had to give you guys another setup. Very clear structure. You can see that 395, super clear structure over here. Okay, so once you broke 395 over here, now again, I'm not sure how you guys actually manage this, but I said this before. Now remember, this is going to be very important for you guys, right? This is just some tips that you guys kind of use, incorporate. So generally speaking, on a normal day-to-day basis, okay, when a ticker breaks out at 395, for example, when a ticker breaks out at 395, okay, when I say 395 break, what you generally want to do is ignore this candle because this is the breakout candle, right? And why do you ignore it is because if so now this is the opening price, this is the closing price at 450, right? If I would tell you guys to take the 395 break and this thing hit 450, you think it's gonna go, and there's still 30 seconds left on the timing for the candle to close. Within this 30 seconds, if this thing starts going all the way down, right? This is just what the candle is gonna look like over here. Is gonna look like this. All right, this candle is going to look like this instead. So the candle never closed above 395. It formed a massive rejection, which is very, very ugly, right? And it's not, then the breakout's not confirmed. So that's why I always tell you guys, right? If the breakouts confirm, okay, right, take your entries on the candle and then have your stop loss on the breakout level or whatever is mentioned. Now, but there are some instances, okay, where if you feel like this breakout is very strong, and if you look at the timing over here, you know that this is the 1 minute candle, right? So every candle closes in the 1 minute. So we based on this time over here right now, you can see this candle over here, right? This candle that this thing has right now, it's going to close, and a new candle is going to show itself in the next 30 seconds. So if you feel like this breakout is very strong, and you feel like the next 20 seconds, next 10 seconds, the candle is definitely not going to close below 395, which is going to complete the breakout, then you can be adding it preemptively on this candle. But you have to remember, if you add it on this candle, right, if the candle breaks below 395 on the very same exact minute, you have to close it because you're not supposed to be in it anyway. The breakout never happened. Okay? Right, but very, very nice move over here. We filled the gap as well, went all the way to A plus, no can complain. And then in the morning, even went further to 10.15. So yeah, it was a pretty good play. Right? Two big wins already right at the start of the morning, TOG and then Boxel. And then LESE was something that's a little bit I remember last week this thing was running pretty quiet. Right, it was a nice move to 4560s, but at the end of the day, all the volume was kind of stuck in the crypto names, was stuck in TLG and was stuck in box out, right? So we just couldn't get any sort of continuation. But it was still a nice move. All right. It was still a nice move. 5.1s. Okay, this was at 934. So right around here, right? I was adding this over here, but we still got a nice move to 5.6, 5.58. Okay, and then went on the way down. For me, this is I'm only small range. So I took 50% out over here. I want to see a much bigger move to the upside. Because I remember Lays kind of did this last week. And it does have pretty good decent catalysts as well. So I was kind of hoping for us to kind of hold structure, but unfortunately volume was just way too concentrated into these crypto names. So not much to be done. And I closed the rest on the structure breakdown by remaining my other half. So it was really, really just small green for me. Okay, not every single play is going to be like massively green, right? Just got to manage your risk accordingly. So now the next thing is, why did I not focus on QLGN, right? Well, this thing was really showing big news. Okay, why did I not focus on re-entries on box out? Honestly, I told you guys I did. It's just that it was way too quick to alert. All right, I really took entries at 7, 6, 7, 10, 7, 20 over here, but it was way too quick to alert. Okay, but why did I not give entries over here initially speaking, like overall? Well, it's because this ticker for me felt very extended. Now remember what I said before. Okay, at this price point, 10.15 for Boxel. Okay, if we take the closing price into consideration, this thing is up close to a lot, basically. So 150. Well, we'll just take 160, right? Just to run it off so you get my drift. 10. So this thing is already up 525% over here. Now it's not normal, Okay, remember guys, it's not normal for us to see a 500% stock on a day-to-day basis. Is it impossible? No. We've seen better, right? We've seen bigger moves before. But generally speaking, when the stock is already up 500%, you want to be more careful, okay? Because it's not normal, okay? Like I said, on a day-to-day perspective, right? General, if we treat things normally, a 500% runner on a day is very not normal at all. So for me, this is very extended, right? That's why I didn't want to touch any of this. And my idea is that if these two highly concentrated volume tickers starts breaking down, where is the volume going to rotate into? There has to be something that can take a right, there has to be something that can take, or rather that can receive, that makes more sense to receive, over the other tickers, right? And if you remember today, Rally had news today this morning, right? Added Cardano to digital asset treasury after their initial Ethereum purchase. So for me, KLGN is running crypto, right? Um, Box out, it's not running anything. So when that dies off, the volume is going to run into anything. That's fine. Okay, so Reddit at the point of time had decent news, okay, crypto related. Didn't really make such any sort of aggravated move, right? It had a pretty nice flag trend pattern over here as well, as you guys can see. This is the best candidate for volume rotation, at least for me. Could have been SRH2, by the way, right? SRH is crypto as well. Yeah, you guys can see that. It's very nice. I just wasn't in it, okay, because you can't trade everything that moves. Remember that. But you guys can see, Rally still made a very nice move. 89, 90 cents all the way to 195. That's 100% right there for you all. And that's the reason why I took Rally instead of the rest. Because it was newer, it was fresher, right? It has more room for volume expansion as compared to the rest. Okay? All right. And last one, of course, why ARBB? Because it's just a random Chinese name, and last week Chinese name has been running randomly, right? So we do have a very nice structure hole on the 5 minute chart where the price retested 200 EMA over here, retested inside this gap over here, and it was flagging, as you guys see. Using this as my pivot, right? Drawing all the way, you can see this is a very nice flag. And once you broke the 5 minute downtrend breakout, it will hold up to 1389, which is pretty decent. Very good. Okay, but one thing to remember again is what this is a Chinese stock, so we can't expect too much out of this because at the end of the day, this is still a Chinese stock, right? So yes, they run hard, but they also drop really hard. So when you see green, take it and then just write some just in case. Because even if you only like write 15 to 20% runners, it then goes to like 20, 30, 40, 50. Those 15, 20% is still gonna pay you very well. But otherwise, if it doesn't do that, right, your 15 to 20% position is not gonna hurt you. You should still be green. Okay, all right. So very simple. Four plays given today. I think the only one that was a little bit choppy was Boxel in the morning, right? But the second entries was smooth. Kyojo was paid, Boxel paid, LASC, depending on how you guys manage it, but it's still flat trade, small green. Okay, it doesn't matter. It happens. And then Rally was another 100% fall. All right. So yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow. We gotta see. Oh God, what the fuck is this? So I definitely see a lot of good potential stuff tomorrow, right? SLE is just one. I'm watching for continuation. NCPL not so much over here. Um, Georgian not so much. Or IPDN maybe. Again, there's no news over here, so I'm not a huge fan. And then of course my top one is gonna be SLE over here, but it's a little too high. So I want to see what happens in 4 a.m. first. All right, either we take a breakout play or we'll see what happens. Okay, all right. So all right, I'm gonna pause right now. Go some questions. Okay, so I'm putting these on my watch list for potential 4 a.m. plays tomorrow, but I'm not gonna overnight any of them. I mean, IPTN had made a nice move, yes, but there's no news to justify this move, so I'm a little bit skeptic. I feel like maybe it's a pump. I don't want to be a part of it. So yeah, but I'm still watching it just in case because we never know. All right, probably do it to 4 a.m. I'm not gonna overnight anything today. Sava. Um, not really a huge fan of Sava, right? It's just basically because the CEO bought 237,000 shares at 225 per share. So adding it over here at 238 makes more sense because we're very close to CEO's price. Over here, not a fan. I mean, volume it can push this, but I feel like if I want to trade something that has volume, I might as well look for SLE or IPTN and stuff. Because why would I know that CEO bought this at two plus, right? It's already shown from the filing as well, 225. Why would I buy at 315? Who knows? Maybe this motherfucker is really big offloading his shares and shit. So yeah, I mean, I also watch it. How do you determine whether the ticker is just a pump during a spike? You can never really know. I mean, every single thing, if it drops a news, right, the ticker pumps up. It's still a pump, right? It's still a pump. At the end of the day, it's still a pump. You just have to manage your plan, respect your plan. That's it. You can never determine. It's like asking, how do you know whether the stock's gonna hold? How do you know whether the stock's gonna go crazy? I never know. You just have to respect your trend, and then that's it. All these are things that you won't know unless, of course, you're the one doing it. Right? I can tell you like if a stock pumps, right? Okay, let me check the news. Okay, that's news over here. That's the reason why I did this. But if there isn't any, then it might be someone pumping or technical bounce or whatnot. But it doesn't matter, right? So long as there is structure, it's not just moving one shot up and one shot down, right? Then it's moving like this and there's a bit of structure. Then we can find an opportunity. Okay, all right. So I think that's it. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. All right, same time, 4 a.m. and then 7, and then we'll trade a little bit for market open, and then we'll call it. Okay, but my style is